You have a first question for Shotty?
Hi, how's it going?
Good. How you doing?
Good. Merry Christmas Eve to you.
Thank you. You too.
So, question about the offensive line. Over the last 2 weeks, they haven't allowed a sack. What would you attribute that to?
They're playing really well. I thought last week's performance, Jackie, was really, really just one of the best I've seen. Across the board. Dwayne was terrific. Those edge players were awesome. Jordan Simmons came in. There's some from Mike, Ethan inside. I think they're a good group. They're well coached, but they're just playing with a lot of cohesiveness, considering there's been some moving parts. We tried to do some things again with Russ, moving him a little bit and changing things up, but for the most part, they're just playing at a high level right now. Really good hand usage. That's important in pass protection, your ability to punch and fend guys off and passing games. So last week felt even better than the week before looking at the tape. I thought they were really good last week.
And then, secondly, really quick, with the Pro Bowl roster recently being named, can you just speak to DK Metcalf getting his first nod along with Nick Ballore and Tyler Ott? I mean, obviously we always hear Russell Wilson, but just some of the first timers that are getting named.
Well, I think it's terrific, not just for them. We're happy for them, but for the organization. It means we're doing good things. In Nick's case, Nick and I were together with the New York Jets when he came in as a linebacker, right? And to see how his journey has gone and to see how he doesn't do a whole lot for us, but how detailed he is with everything that we're asking, and in meetings he's involved, he's engaged, he brings energy. We had him kind of do a little fun signal review the other day, and he was all over it. I mean, so it's been fun to see that journey. And then Tyler, what Tyler does for us, snapping the ball is amazing. And DK, I mean, everybody realized the type of talent DK is, but again, if there's a Pro Bowl for heart and determination, the guy should get awarded that as well.
Jen?
Shotty, what does the execution of the game plan last week mean for this week's game plan when you go up against arguably an even better defense?
Each week is different. You look at the opponent and you say, okay, hey, this is the Redskins and here's their front and this is what they do, okay, and the strength of their team, okay, all right, how are we going to attack them? This week you look at again, a really good defense, great numbers, really talented, playing with a lot of confidence. Each week is very different, so we know a lot of the faces with their personnel. You guys know the names. We know the names with Aaron and Leonard Floyd and Jalen, and they're a great defense. And they pose quite a bit of challenges with the things that they present, but we think we're pretty good too. So each week's very different, and you study the trends and you look at the numbers, and then you kind of put together the best plan. But like I say all the time, that's kind of the easy part. The easy part's putting the plan together during the week, because you're sitting in your office. Maybe you got a candle on, you've got sipping a coffee or a soda. It's a little harder on game day, right? They throw you something you haven't seen, or a ball bounces a different way, and you're like, uh-oh, now what do we do? So it's another great challenge. And this is a terrific defense. They're well coached. They play hard. But we're looking forward to the matchup, and it'll be a great game.
Greg?
You out for a walk? Are you for a walk? You on a walk, Greg?
I'm walking, or the dog's walking me.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah. Merry Christmas to you. Did you get a cool little scooter bike from Russell Wilson like the lineman did?
You know what? I didn't, and I'm a little bit upset about that. I'm going to have to talk to him about it. But I haven't seen, but I've heard that they're really cool. So if somebody in this group could get a picture of it and tweet it out so I can see it, that would be much appreciated. Sounds like that they've got their numbers on them, like they got the wide handlebar. I mean, he was talking all about it, so I was like expecting, looking around like, where? Oh, okay. I guess it's just for those guys that protect you on game day, not for the guy that tries to protect you during the week. I get it, Russ. I see how it is.
Yeah, they're Harleys with scooters. We put it out. They look like Harleys.
All right, I'll have to check it out. I'll have Lane show me a picture of it. But that he honestly is so gracious with those guys and with what he does for everybody. And we all have a lot to be blessed and thankful for this time of year.
Brian,
Brian, what's the quick passing game done for you, and how has it shown maybe Russell Wilson's versatility? We all saw him bombing it down the field earlier in the year.
Well, I think it does show different levels of what he can do. You know, you look at the guy's release and how quick he can get rid of the ball. We've just got guys that really can separate and run. So we've got guys that can attack you vertically with speed. But you look at a guy like David Moore, you look at a guy like DK, you look at a tight end even like Jake Hollister. When they get the ball in their hands, they're pretty good, Greg. And when you get a ball to a guy quick, there's more space normally, right? As the defense spreads out, whether they're playing zone or man, there's more space for them to get started. And that's what you're looking for in those situations. But a lot of it goes with Russ and his ability to process information, read things quickly, be firm off his back foot, but then get that ball to him in those tight windows. That is not easy to do, especially with guys standing up in front of him and trying to push back into the pocket. So I do think you hit the nail on the head. It just shows you that we can do that as well. If people want to try to play deep and play soft on us, we're happy to throw the ball up underneath. We're always going to look for our shots, but that's been a nice addition to our attack over the last couple weeks.
Bob?
Yeah, Brian, Daddy, you add Rashad into the mix a little bit last week. How I know it's maybe a game-by-game thing or just sort of a feel thing, but now that you have three running backs like that, how do you feel that all comes together? And is one of Rashad or Carlos maybe a better fit as the third down, 2-minute type back at all right now? Or
Well, I think the first thing that I want to speak to is it was just awesome to see Rashad out there. It really was. I mean, you talk about what he's had to go through and bouncing back from the injury. I mean, I remember him texting me back during May and COVID and just saying how hard he was working and just wait, coach, just wait. I mean, it's been a really cool journey for him. To see him get out there was terrific. Unfortunately, the first play I called wasn't a very good one. So he got one-on-one with the safety. Sorry, Rashad, welcome back. But the next one that we actually was very close to the one we had against the Eagles that you guys remember. He popped for the long run in the first game last year. So, you know, he's a terrific young man, great guy, unbelievably talented. And so it was great to have him back there. In terms of third down stuff, we want to roll guys through. Travis has done it for a while. With him out, we roll different guys through. But again, part of the process with Rashad was getting him back and just being smart with how much he played. And I know he came up to me after the game and he was thrilled. He was thrilled just to be out there, and I'm happy for him.
Corbin?
Hey, Brian, happy holidays. There's been a few games recently, the Bills game, Giants, and of course the first game with the Rams. It seems like teams have had quite a bit of success with delayed pressures, delayed blitzes against you guys. That Rams game, several of their sacks came off of that. From an offensive coordinator's perspective going into this game, what do you think is a bigger deal in this rematch? Maybe adding a bit more protection to try to guard against that, or Russell getting the ball out to his hot reads?
Well, I'll speak of the Rams game because that's the one, Corbin, that's the most fresh in my mind. Like, you know, one of the things was we got stuck in an empty formation, all right, and we were trying to throw a little quick hitter to the left on to DK and I can't remember who else was over there, and it was a nice blitz. They brought the front side linebacker, okay, which made us hot. You know, we're getting guys out, and so Russ went to go throw it to DK, and they dropped an end out up underneath it. So that's them executing their call better than we did. The call was probably better than the call I had, but also they executed it better. We have ways of blocking that. We know how to do that. We didn't do it perfect. So my point is Leonard gets an easy sack, right? He's right there. Russ goes, oh, it's not there. He pulls it down, and Leonard's free off the edge. So every sack is different. We expect pressure from people. People have tried to play us that way quite a bit. Washington played us a little bit different. Again, each week, as I mentioned to Jen, each week's a little bit different. But in terms of the plan, we want to be multiple. We want to have different answers. Are we going to keep people in? Sure. Are we going to get people out? Absolutely. Are we going to chip the edges? Maybe. Are we not going to chip the edges? Maybe. We're going to be very multiple, but we expect pressures. This group doesn't have to pressure a whole lot with their front four. They do a nice job getting pressure on the quarterback, just like Washington did. But we'll see what Brandon and those guys throw at us.
John Boyle?
Yeah, you just mentioned their front four, Brian. You've been around Aaron Donald going back to St. Louis days. Just what does that do when you have an interior guy who if you put a lot of attention on him, maybe it frees up other guys. If you single him all the time, he's probably going to make his plays. Just what does he do to a game plan?
He keeps you up late at night. I laugh because I remember sitting in the draft room and with Coach Fisher in St. Louis, and this is when guys would come in on their top 30 visits, and guy walks in the draft room and a little bit undersized, real rocked up, solid guy, and he leaves, and Jeff says to the group, he's like, really good chance that's our number one pick. And we're all like, that wasn't very big. I mean, you expect, what's he play? What position? Oh, he's a defensive tackle. And you're like, and now I regret ever thinking that, seeing what he's become. But it's what we saw in practice the very first day that we went against them in St. Louis. He can be dominant at times. The way he shoots gaps, the way he penetrates, he's going to make his plays. So truly, you find ways to send people at him, but even at that does expose other things. Like I talked about, the one sack that Leonard got. You're sliding things certain directions, and he gets a free run. So they've done a nice job there. Les Snead, those guys, Kevin Demoff, they lose Fowler, right? They go out and they get Leonard Floyd. That's smart. Brockers, he was there as well. I mean, you guys remember, we used to see it every day in practice. Brockers, Chris Long, Robert Quinn, Aaron. I mean, we had to go against it every day, so you saw the talent right there. But keeps you up late at night. But again, our guys are going to battle. I mean, they're going to battle, and we feel good about the matchup. They're terrific, but the Redskins are too. And we just talked about that. We didn't give up any sacks, and still the game comes down to executing. So. Again, be a fun area to watch, the front five versus their front four.
Curtis, and then we'll wrap up with Ben.
Hey, Brian, over the first 8 games, you guys were averaging 35 points a game, putting up a ton of yards. Last 6, I think it's down to about 23 or so. On the surface of that seems like a massive difference for you guys. Why isn't it? Why do you still feel like the offense is right there clicking, and to the thought that the offense has kind of tailed off here a little bit? Where do you feel like you guys are?
Well, I think, you look at last game, one of the problems we had was our inability to stay on the field. We only had the ball, Curtis, for 27 minutes, 27 something. First half was really good, right? We were moving it. We come out. We start the second half fast. We're a team that when you give us opportunities, we're so dangerous that you give us the ball for 30-plus minutes, we're really, really good. We kind of find our flow. We make our plays we need to make. So, again, looking back at last week, that's what I felt was the biggest difference was we go out, and I think we went 3 and out 5 times. We had 5 drives in the second half. We went 3 and out 5 times. Or we went 3 and out 3 times of the 5. But it was really things that we were doing. We're 2nd and 10, and Dis jumps off sides, right? So now it puts in a 2nd and 15. We get a -4 run on a play. So it's like, it's all about trying to stay ahead of the sticks, and then when you put yourself behind the sticks in a game like that where you're like, okay, hey, defense is playing great, you're feeling your way through it, we just didn't have enough opportunities. And I think if we get more opportunities last week, I think, again, it's one of those games that it spikes. And you see those numbers and the points that we're very capable of putting up.
Shotty, in what ways or I should say, in what ways would you say the offense is most different than the first time you guys faced the Rams? So if you were comparing Week 10 Seahawks offense versus Rams to what you guys are now facing the Rams, what would you say?
Well, I would start with the running back situation, Ben. I mean, that was one of those games early where, again, Alex was the starter, DJ was coming off the bench, but we were pretty thin. Now you're looking at us, you got Chris back, feeling great, looking great. Carlos doing what he does. We just talked about Rashad. So that's the first thing that jumps out at me. Ethan being back, I thought Kyle played terrific against them. He really did. Played terrific and really was tough, gritty. He got rolled up pretty good and battled his ass off. But probably the number one thing that jumps out at me is just the health of our running backs. Our ability to get those guys involved is very different than that part of the depth chart looks very different.
And even with a Rams team that you guys obviously know so well, what do you think you learned
facing them this last time that helps you guys the most? Obviously, they have a new DC, but what did you guys learn from that that you think helps you guys?
Yeah, well, I mean, getting a feel for some of the players that maybe you didn't know as well. Leonard, the corner's a really good player. The linebackers, the way they play with Reeder and those guys, they do a nice job. So you're figuring out them. I mean, there's some newer faces that you're getting used to seeing. The young rookie safety Fuller is a really good football player. So some of it's personnel driven, and then of course there's things that you see. They've adjusted their third down package. You know, they're playing with 5 big guys in there and trying to push the pocket, and there's things that you see changing. So it's always fun to play somebody early in the season. You look at the game, you're like, okay, hey, next time we play them, what do you want to do? Okay, hey, we'll do this, we'll move that around, and then you kind of watch how they adjust, because there's always an adjustment. You know, you see the way we started early in the year, and then there's always an adjustment, whether it's a permanent thing or a temporary thing, game plan specific. So you're always looking for little tidbits that you can apply. But they don't have many holes. They're a really good defense, and we're a really good offense. We feel like we match up well with them, and now we have to go out and execute and prove that.
Thank you.
Thanks, Shotty.
Good. Thanks, guys. Happy holidays.
Jackie, you have a question for Nick?
Hey Nick, congratulations on making it to the first Pro Bowl of your career. First, how does this feel to receive this honor in your 10th season? And then can you talk about your social media effort to get yourself on the list?
I appreciate it. It always feels good to get something like that. Obviously, I'm kind of an old man in this game, so it's fun to finally reach that point, I guess. And with the social media stuff, it's just fun to kind of use someone like DK for his prowess of social media abilities and Photoshop my face on there to kind of steal some of his thunder. So
that was probably one of my favorite tweets that you had.
I appreciate it.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Jen?
We just heard Shotty talk about how much attention to detail you put into your work. Is it the same mentality that you had when you were a linebacker, or have you had to think about things differently in your role as a special teamer?
Really, special teams has been like at the forefront of my entire career. So it's something that coming into the league, it took a little getting used to. I didn't do it in college, but it really encompasses everything you do on a football field, both offensively and defensively. You have to, run, hit, tackle, block, do everything. So it's something that I knew just coming into the league that would be something that I would have to do in order to stay around and, manage to kind of, work on my skills with that and, still trying to fool people to this day. So it's fun because it kind of, you get to do everything that you do in a normal football game on both sides of the ball. And then obviously me playing linebacker and then fullback, it kind of worked out good. I can, kind of do a little bit of everything.
Ben?
Hey Nick, how would you describe your kind of relationship with Shotty? He's kind of talked about how you guys like to have like a little back and forth, make fun of each other. How from your perspective, how would you say you guys kind of get along?
Oh, it's fun. It started out kind of weird just because I came in for a visit here 2 years ago now, and I'm sitting in an office with Shotty, talking to him about playing offense or whatever. And that was, 8 or 9 years before he was the offensive coordinator with the New York Jets, and I came in as an undrafted rookie linebacker. So it was kind of nuts that, 8 or 9 years later, we were having a conversation about me playing offense. It was just weird to have that happen. And, obviously there's some familiarity there. So we like to mess with each other a lot. I always joke with them that I feel like I'm getting squeezed out of the offensive game plan, and they brought me here to, catch the ball and where all my touch is at. So I like to mess with them, but, I know what I'm here to do. So in any capacity, he'll, allow me to get out in the field, whether that's victory formation or what have you. I'm all for it.
Thank you.
Yep.
And one more for Nick. Bob?
Yeah, Nick, was there a point this year at all where you started to feel like making the Pro Bowl was like a realistic goal or aspiration for yourself?
Not really. I think I was just really excited at how well the special teams has been playing as a whole. And I know I really don't know because I haven't been a part of a whole lot of teams that are successful like here. But I know that, team success usually brings along everybody. And, we had just such great play out of, probably 10 guys on the special teams units that, I think it would help me. And I was just, focused on playing the best ball I could as the season progressed. But, it's always a nice little thing to earn, I guess. But, we have much bigger things to worry about.
All right. Thank you, Nick.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
John Boyle, question for Rashad.
Yeah, what was that like for you to get out there? I mean, it's been a year to finally make it all the way back and be on the field, and then how much are you looking forward to kind of ramping things up as you get backups?
It was a blessing, just taking advantage of, every opportunity and just, being back, it was a long road, and I'm just ecstatic to be here and be back and just be again around the team. I like I told the guys, I was just more so happy with traveling because I was just happy just to be back around that feeling and, just watching the game, just firsthand experience instead of watching it on TV every weekend. But, yeah, it was a blessing and, I was happy.
Greg?
Hi, Rashad. Welcome back. How difficult was it to get up every morning and go in and get COVID tested, knowing you were not even close to playing and not even practicing yet? You had to keep showing up just to stay in the protocol.
Just like staying mentally in it. I mean, it wasn't as tough as I thought it was. So like me getting up every morning, I got up every day just like I was coming here to practice to play for a game on Sunday. I really wasn't thinking about all that, like of me not playing during the weeks. I was just excited to be here and be around everyone. But just me learning football as more of a student of the game, trying to learn the ins and the outs and, be around the guys like the running backs and, just create a bond, with them and also with the team. But I loved every minute of it. I mean, I enjoyed it, and I'm just excited to be here.
Curtis?
Yeah, Rashad, last year you were coming off maybe your two best games right before the injury happened. How big of a blow was that for you to kind of get through? And then coming back from it, when did you feel like you got over the hump?
Yeah, everybody usually talk about that. Definitely my family. They always sit and talk about it. But I just looked at it as an opportunity. Of like last year, last few games, I got as many opportunities as I could, and I was able to show what I could do. But I was just, grateful for them opportunities, and it was a blessing. And, now it's just like, whatever role they need me to play, I'm willing to do whatever. And, it's like me easing myself back into it, getting the contact back again. And now I'm starting to see things differently. And, just running backs coaching me up, Chris and Carlos, because they already been there. So, I mean, it's just great having them two there, who's been in it already and, have that feel. So it's like me just learning it again.
Michael Sean.
Hey, Rashad, Chris has kind of been the one since you've been here, and they brought Carlos in. Neither one of those guys are under contract for next year.
Mm-hmm.
How much would you like to prove that you can be the guy, whether in 2021 or beyond, like the number one guy?
I honestly haven't even really thought about that. Like, I'm just like I said, I'm easing myself into, just getting back out there and trying to just get back to playing ball at the normal rate. Like how y'all said, like how I finished the last 2 weeks of last year. I'm just trying to get that feel again and just contribute any way this team needs me to contribute. But Chris is really like my best friend, and me and Carlos have developed a good relationship, and I enjoy all the other running backs. So I mean, we all got a great relationship with each other. That's something we really don't even talk about really. We more so talking about like other things, like other sports, boxing, and just cartoons or anything. So it's pretty cool.
Was there any trash talk before or after the Giants game between you and Elijah?
Yeah. He called me from his locker room. Pretty excited. I was happy for him. He's always like in our family, in our group of family. He always thought he was the one that was overlooked or just never talked about. So I mean, it was pretty cool for him. A pretty cool moment. I was kind of bummed about it because we lost, but he was happy.
Joe.
Rashad, was there someone that helped bring you along through the process? I'm just kidding. Whether it was checking on you, whether it was working out with you, whether it was just keeping you up. Not to say you couldn't have done it on your own, but was there someone you leaned on maybe a little bit?
Man, my little nephews. I think that was special. My brother, Elijah, he has two kids, and I remember one day I was sitting in my room back at home in Norwalk, and it was after I had surgery, and I was like in so much pain, and they came to me and they were just like, Uncle, let's go outside and race. And then like after that I went outside and I was like, man, I haven't seen the sun in a few days. So, and I got back out there and I just seen the smile on their faces that they made. And after that, that's when I realized like, wow, I impact a lot of my family members and some of my friends like lives. So after that kind of motivated me to get back into like, I got to get up, get ready for treatment, do whatever it takes after treatment to get right, to just keep my knee stronger, do the little things. And, that's what eventually led to. And, it's just a blessing having them along, my family, my girlfriend, all my best friends, they helped me. But a lot of guys here played a huge role, my coaches, and, just being on me every day, just it was tough.
Thanks, man. Congrats on being back.
Thank you.
We have time for one more before we run out. Art.
Joe kind of asked the same question, but I was wondering what was that the dark moment? Because everybody who's gone through physical rehab has something, that delays them or slows them, and I'm wondering what pulled you through in terms of the mindset, not just the physical rehab.
I mean, just me being who I was, I always had a smile on my face, all the negative critics, all the things that happened, me going down. I just continue to have a smile on my face, and thank God I was up every day. And, just finally getting back to what I'm doing, and that's playing football and loving it. And, it just makes you appreciate football that much more, and it's a blessing, and I'm just ecstatic to be back, And I miss these guys. Like, I miss playing football. So, my first time back on the field, all I did was smile every play, even if it was like it was a fake. I just was on the route and just happy to be back out there and, embrace the moments.
Thank you, Rashad.
Appreciate it. Thank you.